Okay. And yeah. Okay, David, the day of the event has come, and you are told the guest speaker will not be coming due to an emergency. A major food sponsorship will arrive late, and the sound in the auditorium is failing. What do you do? Improvise.
Okay, first of all, with regards to the motivational and guest speaker, I would join basically an emergency meeting with all the secretariat to see if anyone knows a person that has the ethos and the credibility to speak during the event. With regards to the sound, I'll try to see what other alternatives we could use. I do know some students, like Daniela, for example, if we could, and she's a very outgoing person, and she would definitely lend us whatever we need in case of an emergency, who has a speaker that we could use with a microphone that's battery-wise. And with regards to the food sponsorship, I would first take the food that we already have and join it through the first day or two of the simulation, and try to reprioritize and reorganize the snacks and the dinner so that we could have enough food for all 3 events, all 3 days of the event.
Okay, so the extra minute starts now for the other 2 candidates.
Okay, so I do believe that would be a very good thing to do in order to improvise, in order for the setbacks to be dealt with. However, the only thing that I believe is missing is to reorganize a schedule or have an emergency schedule already planned in order for if it happens that a guest speaker or motivational speaker does not arrive, have a plan B in order to go into.
I think that in the case of a guest speaker, if they are not going to appear, yes, the schedule could be rearranged, but there are always a large amount of people who could do so, who could come and present, that are always well prepared in case of an emergency. We could either provide a list, have a list of people that would be willing to do so, or simply ask people that we know and trust and are well known here in Monterey and would be willing to do so.
Okay, hands up. So for the second question, it's for Steffi, and are there any additional fundraising projects that you're willing to pursue? And how will you ensure yourself that all the finance communication is distributed among all secretariat members?
Well, I believe a good idea would be to open up the documents of finance for the rest of Secretariat to be well aware of them, to be able for all to contribute and be mostly informed of what's happening, since the main problem is that even though we are willing to help, we are not technically involved into the finance committee, and we don't know how we should help them, even though we are more than willing to. And about fundraising events, well, I do believe that the flowers was a great fundraising. However, seeing as we do not host the simulation in Valentine's Day anymore, it can be a little outdated. However, maybe the creation of marketing stuff by IMMUNS, maybe like water bottles or pins, it could be a good idea for all the students who see the simulation as something admirable and want to keep something as their little memory of that they came to IMMUNS.
Okay, so for the other 2 candidates, your turn starts now.
All right. Well, in the case of expanding, I really do think that the idea of expanding to the elementary campus would be helpful, especially in this case because of financial reasons. By doing the things that we do right here, only with this new audience, for example, raffles. Despite the fact that we hold some raffles during IMMUNS, the kids over there and the teachers over there are always willing to help us and cooperate with in any cause that we have. So we would have twice the amount of money for raffles because we would have twice the amount of people that would be willing to cooperate. And that's just one of the things that we could double in the case of financial profit.
And well, I believe that we could actually provide an incentive for each grade level so that they could do a fundraiser and make it a competition, a friendly competition between each class of MUN to see which group of students is able to fundraise more money.
Okay, the next question is for Patrick. How do you assess the progress made in this year's IMMUNS, and what would you like to continue developing or change for the following year?
I really liked the effort that everyone put into this year's IMMUNS. I will not compare other years, but I will say that everyone did do their job accordingly, and everyone did do meet expectations, and many others did also exceed their expectations to what they were supposed to do. But what we could do is try to involve ourselves, not only just our department, but also really try to see what other departments do, whether in basics or actually find out like, hey, what are you doing for a fundraiser, or what are you doing for the background paper writing, and in the process of actually getting to know the other responsibilities, whenever another department really needs help, whether they admit to it or not, there is always someone else that they can rely on, because it's not a competition within departments. It's a team effort that we're doing right here. So everyone should be able to contribute to another department's help whenever necessary.
Okay, Minister Snap?
Well, this year I had the privilege of having a USG that allowed me to make a project that was new to IMMUNS, and she gave me the freedom of working with that. It was the hallways decorations, and she placed faith in me that I could organize such successfully. I believe that every one of us has ideas that could really improve MUN and the simulation itself. So to encourage people to implement such ideas and to go the extra mile, it would be a very beneficial aspect of the Secretariat class in order to keep innovating IMMUNS in the future years.
Yeah, I do agree that innovation was a big part of this year's IMMUNS success and what I really liked. However, this is just a start. I do believe there's a lot of potential in ideas from the class, and that this should be just a push forward to keep moving and keep innovating without the fear of making mistakes.
Thank you, Kendra. Okay, now for David, are there? No, it's David. Are there any changes to the key roles of any department?
Okay, basically, as I mentioned in my speech, not only just any department specifically, but the boundaries between departments could be made less prominent. That way people could actually contribute to others, as Patrick already mentioned previously. But specifically with HURAC and IT, I believe that there's a lot of collaborative efforts and potential that these two departments could have, especially when taking into account the social media and the website for delegate preparation for the event. We could use Twitter as a forum for conversation and preparation prior to the event, and for delegates to ask chairs questions or to post current events that are related to the committee that they're participating in. So this collaboration could, between IT and HURAC, be very beneficial for IMMUNS 2017.
Okay, delegates, candidates, here's next steps now.
Well, I do believe one specific thing that must be changed from department is like the game show questions. I do believe it's an overweight for Lore to also take care of the IMMUNS game show questions and logistics in the place. Even though we could still take care of it in the spot, the questions I do believe should be redistributed to another department, not specifically any right now.
Well, I already spoke about some specific departments, but mainly in the question of like actual changes to process, there aren't really, I wouldn't change as in take away things as I would add things for the creative purpose of getting more money and anything that would be productive, because there are already core tasks that every department is in charge of. And of those core tasks, most of them, HURAC with background paper writing, we're not going to get rid of that. So it's add things or innovate things rather than change or take away.
Okay, the next question is for Steffi. How will you ensure all Secretariat members are actively involved in their department and meet their task requirements?
Well, I believe that depends a lot on the leadership positions, from USGs to SGs to any single member of Secretariat that has the will to be a leader. And I do believe that with strong heads, we are able to distribute the tasks accordingly and make everyone work to the best of their ability. And it's just about finding what everyone's talent is and what they would rather do instead of forcing tasks on them that they maybe not be as glad to do as others.
Minute starts now.
Okay, we could implement this human resources aspect of the Secretary General and the Subsecretary General, focused on aiding people in each department to feel comfortable with their tasks, and if they're unable to, aid them in managing their workload throughout the year. This way, like, the Secretary General and Subsecretary General would become more close. We'll be closer to each secretariat member, and we would make our work ethic and workload throughout the year more efficient.
Well, I think that trust within a department, when talking specifically about a department, when there's this big family, like what there typically is, this like, I'll help you, you help me, because they're all working together, that would eliminate the many communication problems. But regarding, like, within the entire classroom, I don't think that there would be too many communication problems if everyone knows what everyone else is doing. Because specific to departments, they're already mostly very friendly to each other, but otherwise.
Okay, and for the final question for Patrick, how do you plan to make Secretariat more accessible for the newer members
For the newer members to Secretariat.
or the MUN program?
The idea of togetherness, of course. It's always going to tie in, because the more open that we are to everyone else's ideas, and the more open that we are to fresh ideas or things that we're not typically used to do in class content. With these fresh ideas and with fresh minds, one learns to cope, and besides cope, just adapt and learn to progress. So I don't think that it would be a problem, because generations always come and go. This year the seniors will leave, and there will be newer generations, younger generations coming in, and it's never truly been a problem of communication amongst them.
Well, I do believe a key factor for people to feel included into the MUN program or secretariat or as pages or as anything is to be collaborative. I think many times we're seen as a program above the regular MUN classes. So I do believe that collaborating with MUN 9, MUN 10 pages, it could make them feel more included, we're humans, we're all in this together, we're working towards IMMUNS, we're not on top of you, we're equals, and we should work together.
And I believe that making department tasks available to the MUN program so that people in MUN 9, 10, 11 could contribute to IMMUNS is a very important way in order to keep youth involved and add a juvenescent factor into the secretariat organization.
Thinking thing.
Okay, now that we have finished with the first 6 questions.
So this year we had a problem with the pages that we hadn't experienced like in as large as magnitude as we did. This year we had to redistribute pages and we worked it out fine, but ideally we should have more pages. What are your ideas on how to gain more pages now that 6th graders are not motivated by the lack of MUN program in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade?
I believe the communication with teachers in those specific grade levels is really vital towards promoting the MUN program with youth. And having your 6th grade social studies teacher encourage you to participate as a page in IMMUNS is a very efficient way to increase the idea and the need for people to participate.
I also think that the idea that Patrick had about involving elementary school into the MUN, not curriculum, but activities, would be a very strong factor in this, since if little kids are familiar with the MUN program from 4th, 5th grade, they will come into 6th grade, learn about this and be like, oh, I've heard about this, let me be a page, and also having an incentive for them rather than just, this will help you get into MUN when you're bigger. No, being like, you can learn something from this. There's a really fruitful outcome that you can get.
I think that once someone enters 6th grade, the transition into a new